Okay guys, so if you are shopping for a headset, I imagine you'd probably fit in one of three groups of people. Basically, obviously everyone's a little different, but in general. First group of people are probably like, does it make a lot of noise and does it have a ton of bass? And if you were in one of those groups of people, well, you could probably just look for a headset that has lots of noise and tons of power and tons of bass. And you're probably going to be really happy and you'll have a great headset. If you are one of those, this video is probably not for you. The second group of people would be probably people that are like, well, I could buy a $100 headset and I could just buy something cheap and ghetto, but I have lots of money, so I'm gonna get like true audiophile equipment, and I'm gonna get something that's like at least $350. I might even get like $1,000 studio grade quality headset, tons of quality, great listening experience. I'm not even gonna bother with anything budget level. And if you're one of those people, yeah, this is probably not the video for you either, because you're going to be like, why are you reviewing a $100 headset? But there's a third group of people. So you're probably like me if you are watching this video and you find this interesting, because you're like, well, I do have, a little bit of money to spend, but I don't have a lot. But man, I went to this showroom floor where they sell speaker equipment, or like in my case, I was at CES and I got to sit in this room where they had some audiophile equipment. And when I got to hear that, it was like audio bliss. I would die to have a setup like that, but I can't afford it. Is there anything that doesn't cost as much but would sound pretty close to as good? If you are in that group of people where you're just thinking, if I could just spend like $100, $150 and get a quality headset that has some great sound and something that I could actually appreciate listening to and not be disappointed when I spent my money in, I think I've got just the video for you. Why is it so hard to find a good quality headset that also isn't super pricey? Particularly when you're looking at like that $100, even $150 range, it is really iffy to find a good, high quality sounding headset. I'm going to get to those questions in just a second, but before I do, let's talk about this Turtle Beach Elite Atlas PC gaming headset that they've got here, because I want to talk about how it sounds, then we're going to compare and answer this question why it's so hard, because I have tried to find good quality headsets on a budget and it is incredibly difficult. So for starters, guys, this thing does sound really, really great. Like, this is the audio experience I have been looking for in a headset I didn't do headsets, guys. I always did, desktop speakers. And I finally found a headset that I am super happy with. And that is amazing because, I did it through reviewing. But this guy had a very great separated sound. That's really important. So on music, it's for appreciation, right? You want to hear the different parts of what's going on, whether it's like the strings in an orchestra or an acoustic guitar playing, or actually being able to separate out vocals. It's really important. But in gaming, it's important too, because it helps you separate voices from the game noises while still being able to keep track of it all. Very clean sound. I mean, just everything was very crisp, and I could hear instrumentals and voices so clearly. But even things like gunshots and explosions sounded really clean and really crisp, which was very nice. The other thing that was really good is soundstage, and that's just this idea of when you're listening to a headset, sometimes it can feel like somebody's taken all the sound and funneled it into a little tiny thing in your ear, and it just sounds like you're in a closed-in little box. And soundstage is when the speaker reproduces that so it feels really open, like you're hearing all the sound all the way around you. And these guys do a really good job of that as well. In fact, the only weakness I saw was the bass was not super punchy. If you were wanting loud thumping bass, you're not going to get that with these, but the bass itself is very clear and you can hear it. I had to boost my bass a little bit to get that little bit of extra resonance and a little bit of that feel. What's nice is in long-term sessions, because the bass isn't too heavy, it keeps you from getting worn out and getting like that exhaustion you can get from wearing a headset for a long time. But the flip side was, this is the only headset that when I've moved the very bottom bass slider, I heard a difference. Like any other headset I've ever had, if I move that bottom bass slider, it does nothing. So I move it just for the principle of the matter, but I never hear it. I could hear that frequency on this headset, and it made me so happy. I was listening to a violin dubstep. I'll link her in the description below because I cannot remember her name. I think it was Crystallized, Sterling, something like that. But when you got that bass up, you could just hear so much resonance and just hear all that. It was pretty cool, but there was still that separation here in the violin. Awesome sound. So guys, this is a great sounding headset, but why would you pass over it? Why would you maybe be like, I don't think I would buy this headset? I'm going to tell you why it's so hard to shop. Number one, customer reviews. So if you're like me, you're going to look at customer reviews and try to get the right thing. The customer reviews aren't terrible on this, right? But it's 4 stars on Amazon. And you might think, all right, well, let me look at the percentage. And if you look at the percentage, you'll be like, well, okay, there's this, and I hate to do direct comparisons, guys, but I really need this for the example. There's this HyperX Cloud 2 that has a little higher percentage. I think I'm going to go with that one. Mistake. Now, if, like I said, if you're not looking for just if you can't really tell the difference in that quality and you just want something that just sounds good and sounds good enough, you may not tell the difference between the two. And the SoundCloud is a really great headset. Don't get me wrong, the Cloud 2. But if you were wanting that really high quality on an audio, like going towards an audiophile level, the customer reviews would steer you wrong because this is a better headset. Why are they wrong though? Well, I think there's 2 answers for that. Number one, well, there's one answer and there's 2 parts to it. So the key there is for one, the HyperX has a USB connection where this is an analog. Their USB dongle acts as a little bit of a sound DAC, right? So it's going to help power the headset, and it's going to help clean up the audio and make it a little better quality regardless of what's coming from the PC. This guy is going to be depending entirely on the built-in sound card of a computer. Here's what was interesting, guys. I plugged this guy into my Dell at work. Whoa, night and day different. This guy sounded like crap on my cheap computer sound card. But once I moved it to my main PCs here that can actually play back at like 32-bit and 192 kilohertz resolution, this thing sounds amazing, like a lot, like a significantly better. I mean, for me it's like a lot better, but for other people it might be a little. But the point is this was clearly better than the Cloud 2, even though they have the same computer. The USB actually hurts that, and I've tried plugging in analog for the Cloud, which helped, but the Cloud 2 could not quite keep up with the audio resolution that this guy has. Like, it just sounded so much better. Guys, if you got customers plugging this thing in a bad computer, they're going to put a bad review. But it's not the headset's fault. It's the computer's fault. So guys, that is like a huge part of the reason. The other reason why it's so hard to find a good one is because when you look at reviews for audio equipment, people who specialize in stuff like this, they just don't review $100 headsets. They don't. And I don't blame them because they've fine-tuned their taste to like high-end expensive stuff. And if you're running a website and you're running, constant reviews, you're not going to really get anywhere. Audiophiles aren't looking at stuff like this. Only budget audiophiles are, and you know what makes an audiophile an audiophile? Somebody who's willing to spend really good money on good stuff. So if I can't spend the good money, I can't really call myself an audiophile. But if you guys want to fake audiophile and you have a decent sound card or built-in sound chipset in your motherboard, These guys are going to be awesome. They are great. One of the things Old Turtle Beach mentions is competitive gaming and voices. The mic was amazing. This is the best mic I've ever had. The sound was great, especially for hearing voices, competitive gaming. They would definitely be a clear winner as long as you have a good audio card or built-in audio on your board or laptop to handle them. All right, guys, that's kind of all I wanted to cover, but I'm going to do a full written review where I'm just going to really hash out the details and focus more on the headset itself than on this question of why it's so hard to find a good headset. But if you guys have been in the same boat as me, please let me know in the comments below. I'd like to see if this is something that's just me or if other people have had that same kind of problem where they're like, I'm going to be disappointed. Well, I'm going to buy this headset. The reviews look okay. Oh, I was disappointed. I've had that happen to me so many times. I would gladly throw down $100 on this in a heartbeat. I think this is worth at least $300. So, very nice headset. Turtle Beach is doing a great job. So I got for you guys. Like and subscribe if you would like to do that to help me out. And if you don't, then I guess you could just dislike it because, hey, that can happen too sometimes. But otherwise, I will catch you later.